Hello there guys! Today I thought I'd go over the most recent patch in Guild Wars 2 and what I think the most important points of it are. It came out a couple days ago and it has some pretty substantial stuff. The patch is named Prelude to Fire and Frost, as it is meant as a preliminary patch to a series of story-driven content that'll be coming over the next while. They're going to be doing this story stuff with a new system they have called the Living Story. That Living Story stuff has already started with a series of natural disasters that have hit some zones that you may have previously visited. They are actually timed events that are supposed to have a real impact on the world and give good reason to go back to old zones. On a related note, there are some adjustments to the dynamic leveling system. It's been scaled to be better in general, and rewards for it going forward are better for higher level players going down to low level zones. So I think that will do a lot to help some of what I noticed when I went back into leveling recently, which was that zones are pretty empty, and I'm sure other than some new players, which are occasional, and the occasional alt, there just isn't much in terms of population in these low level zones. Hopefully with this patch and moving forward that will change. The achievement system has been reworked. Not only have some new daily achievements been added and existing ones have been adjusted, but achievements actually now give a form of currency. That currency is called laurels, and the laurels can be used to buy a bunch of things. Currently, up to 90 items can be bought by them, and they are a wide variety of items. Now, this system is actually something I really like. You see, in most games, in single-player games at least, I don't really like achievements too much. They are a little immersion-breaking, to be sure, and they're often used as a replicant for actual gameplay and actual content. But I don't think that really applies in a MMO situation. I think MMOs are actually one of the only places where achievements really fit in. And MMO players always want some more content, something new to do, some new challenge to complete. And even if you manage to constantly be putting out content, like the Guild Wars 2 team seems to be doing, there are still players that will complete it all and want to devour more, so you might as well give them some challenges in the form of achievements. And I do like the implementation of currency into them, how Guild Wars 2 has done it. I haven't seen anything like it before, so I congratulate them for that. And while I'm not a huge achievement whore myself, I think a lot of people will be pleased by this change. There have been some changes to how dungeons work. It's easier to use waypoints now in them, and in terms of the fractals of the mists, they've been changed in a variety of ways. They've been fixed up, they've been balanced out a little bit, and I'm not a huge guy that's into dungeons myself, as I'm just starting to get back into PvE and leveling a little bit at a really slow pace. And I might get into dungeons eventually, but for now I have no idea what it's about, so I can't really comment. What might be the most significant part of the patch is something that they've been promising for quite a while now, which is the implementation of guesting. Guesting allows you to visit other servers with your character. You can do this with any PvE content now, with any server you want. Since it's already been implemented in SPVP, you can now do pretty much anything other than World v World with your friends, which seems to be as it should be. Unfortunately, it's limited by region, so you can't switch between US and Europe, which sucks for a limited amount of people, but it still is a sort of a disappointment. I am sure there's some technical reasons behind it, and I guess we might never know. With that change in mind, world transfers now cost you some real cash. But that shouldn't be an issue anymore unless you're a hardcore player in World v World. So overall, in terms of playing with whoever you want to, I think we have a better system now, and one that more fits the direction that they said they'd be going in from release. In terms of structured PvP, they've put in place a special week where the new map, the Temple of the Silent Storm, is the only map that is played in paid tournaments. For this week only, paid tournaments are a 1v1 team match instead of an 8 teams to a tournament, and only one game is played. The new map mentioned is pretty cool, better than the Oceanside one for sure. After the week's over, the new map will be made part of the main tournament rotation, both in free tournaments and in paid tournaments. And since they're turning 3 maps into 4 maps now, hopefully this means that maybe we'll get an actual random rotation of maps instead of the set one that we've had, which really isn't fair in terms of having to plan different strategies for different maps. Up until now, Kylo has been a ton more important than the other maps if you want to win tournaments. And yeah, let's hope that's gonna change. Otherwise, there's some minor UI changes, there's some balance changes to some zones, there are some bug fixes, class balance changes. I'm not going to go into all the class balance changes, as you should take a look for yourself for what affects your class, and it would take me half an hour to go over everything. If you're interested, I will link to the full patch notes below, so you can check that out for yourself. That is about all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Maple Dungeons. If you'd like to see any more variety gaming content, you can subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I will see you next time.